Thank you to listening to my show. I'll be back your way next week. Shooting gallery on the way. Lads are all ready to go. Gonna hang around and enjoy the show. And if you're out and about, then try to catch myself and Dave and Pablo down there on Sunday evening. Enjoy the weekend, guys. Shooting gallery on the way. Yes, indeed, it is time for the shooting gallery. PHEVER TV and radios featuring an invited panel of guests featuring leading Irish DJs, press producers, promoters, and industry figures on a review panel round table style banter. Dean Sherry.
Hi, how you doing?
We are live.
We are live. I was hoping on a little shooting gallery. Play the jingle, Mick. Play the jingle. Mick's looking for the jingle.
The Shooting Gallery, a new exclusive monthly drive time highlight, a special in-studio guest reviews of new music, events, tech plus industry discussions, and banter globally simulcast on multiple platforms online and FM in Dublin.
Too much beer, Dean.
Too much beer. Mick Masterson, thank you so much for the last 2.5 hours of madness as usual. Every Friday, it doesn't get much better than that. In the studio, we have a savage panel here. I'll introduce the people on the PHEVER side first. Mick Masterson is manning the DJ side of things. Dave Caffrey and Pablo C are here on all things technical, audio and video. I am Dean Sherry, and sitting at the table right next to me here, in no particular order, but I will go obviously now this way. We're going to talk to Doug Cooney, DJ, producer and audio trainer from RLSD DJ Production College and Orbis Recordings. Thank you so much, buddy, for coming in today.
Thanks for having me, Dean. Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it too. Next to him then we have the guys behind Paradox. We have Geoff Miller and Cormac Heatherman, promoters of Paradox, Mass Festival, TechWorks and Housework Festivals. Guys, how are you guys doing?
Doing very well, thanks.
Not too bad.
Just sit in on the mics every time you're talking. Next to you guys is is someone that needs very little introduction. My good friend, Mr. Mark Kavanagh, DJ, promoter, producer, Irish Daily Star, Buzz.ie, the Olympic Ballroom, SoundCloud, Red Records. I could go on here. Mark Kavanagh, thank you so much.
Cheers, becoming a bit of a regular fixture.
Kind of are, yeah. I see your sleeping bag over there. And next to him is a great pal of mine. Only relocated from the US down to sunny Wexford. It's Mr. Glen Brady, aka DJ Woollyhead.
How you doing, Dean?
In your own words, you were Woollyhead.
Yeah, okay.
Where is the wool gone?
I'd had to go. It's too much. It's too big. Couldn't get in there, the car.
DJ Wool, Glen Brady, what a legend, and thanks for coming up today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to get straight into the music, but before we do, Mark Fay is also here from DJ Box. Mark has brought in some tech toys to have a look at, the Tractor Control S8. Mark, do you just want to step up and give us a very quick introduction to what this is?
Yeah, very quickly. It's one of the newer controllers from Tractor. It was one of the first dedicated stems controllers, and a lot of people have seen Carl Cox use it. So he uses a variation of it now. He uses a single side with the Model 1 mixer. But I think last summer, this was his weapon of choice. It's awesome.
And this was the unit Carl Cox used in Belfast?
He used that exact one in Belfast, yeah. We helped the guys out with the show, and that's the one that went up and came back. Yeah, that was his controller, yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, thank you, Mark. We're going to come back to Mark in about half an hour after the guys have had a look and a twiddle and a feel of all the knobs. You know, it's DJ Tech here. We love anything. Mark Kavanagh might also be talking some tech in a little while as well. But let's get straight into the music. I'm going to submit first tune. It was sent to me by two legends of house music. Lenny Fontana in the US and Alison Limerick have collaborated on a brand new tune. This is a track called Bye Bye. Let's have a listen and rate it or slate it.
Shooting Gallery.
Okay. I'm not going to play too much of this one. As I said, this was sent to me by the legend who is Alison Limerick. You know, like she's a house diva. I've met Alison and worked with Alison a few times. Lenny Fontana, again, another house music legend. I thrown it onto the table because they sent it to me there a couple of weeks ago. Thoughts of this one, Doug Cooney?
The production is very good. It wouldn't be my cup of tea. It wouldn't be something you'd hear me playing in a club or whatever. But I feel within music, you know, there's not really much room for negative connotation. So for me, I try and find the positive there. The production's really slick and clean, and I can see it really working.
For me, I think it's aimed at a crossover market. They're trying to get sharp placing there.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, I think that's a good middle ground and a fair assessment of that. But for me, yeah, personally, it wouldn't be something in my bag, or you know, something I'd be kicking back listening to on a Sunday or whatever.
What is in your bag?
My bag is
the question is,
good question.
Is that a rhetorical question, or should I answer that?
We'll move around the table very quickly, randomly. Glen Brady, thoughts on this house music track?
I found it a bit flat. I found the sounds a bit easy. Presets. Drums were really, really boring and no dynamic. But I kind of liked the classic style of her vocal.
Well,
Yeah.
she is a classic vocalist.
She
I guess.
is.
Yeah, good comments, Mark Kavanagh.
Yeah, she's still got the voice, most definitely. But I agree with what Glenn said. That
Yeah.
the sounds were all a bit dated and sort of nothing too
It's
exciting
not jumping off
going
the
on
page.
there.
It's not a Where Love Lives, I guess.
No,
Lads, what do you
unfortunately.
think?
I'm on the same page as Doug personally, but it sounds like a kind of upbeat daytime Ibiza track, which if you were in the scene, it would be good at the time, but it's still not my thing.
Yeah, it's beachwear, I guess. Yeah.
It's fairly
Yeah.
standard. It's one of those ones, if you were locked there, you'd probably have a great time there.
The shuffle.
Get the paradox shuffle going. Okay. Moving very swiftly along. Next tune, we're gonna play this one. I'm not sure who submitted it. We'll find out in a couple of minutes.
The Shooting Gallery.
Okay, this track is called The Warehouse, and it is by who? Amato. I'm not sure who submitted this tune. Tell me who at the table submitted this bad boy.
It was myself, Douglas Cooney.
Nice tune, Doug. Tell us about this one. Why'd you put this one on the table?
This is by a producer that inspired me greatly over the years, and kind of when I first started collecting records in places like Selecta and Spin Dizzy, through people like Simon Conway and stuff they could have, and Sonny Sharp, I guess. Michelle Amato is more commonly known as the Hacker, and I guess the track is kind of about kind of people sort of, for me it's kind of a coming full circle track, and kind of letting people kind of take a little bit of time to kind of, within all the noise and everything that's going on in music, to take a bit of time, to a bit of introspection and see what actually makes them, what actually works for them or resonates.
I'd never heard the track. I do know
yeah.
Amato. I like that electro kind of 80s
Yeah.
synth coming in there. Like he's pulled out a few nice little toys there.
Yeah, that's
As a
it.
production piece of work, it's constructed well. A little slow, but again, I
Yeah.
guess he's going for kind of a vibe there.
This is it, and again, guess he's kind of that's his style. Go a little bit against the grain, do what resonates with him, and yeah, for me, it's a little bit annoying as a chat to the lads.
Is
here.
this a newish tune?
This is newish, which is kind of
And you
interesting.
brought in a vinyl version.
I actually got the download, and then I just thought,
And can one lucky listener win this?
this is the answer to that is a swift no, because this is a limited edition silver vinyl that I had to pay 20 quid for new off Juno.
I can see there's a semi going on here though.
table's moving.
So yeah, I guess without going too far down the rabbit hole, I guess people kind of, for me, like with technical skills, I feel anyone with time and effort, but you know, to kind of get anywhere with your DJing, I think you have to carve your own sound within whatever framework you're trying to.
Okay,
operate,
let's throw it around the table, guys. Paradox, what did you think of this tune at Mato the Warehouse?
Yeah, it's nice. I like the sounds in it. It's just a little bit repetitive, and sometimes when the sounds are really nice, if they're actually too repetitive, it starts annoying you after a while.
I'd say it probably needs a big room as well, you know, and a big system to pull the best out of it.
It needs to be fit into a good set as well.
Yeah.
Personally, I agree with Doug again. I think it needs to be way faster. If it was, it would be right up my street. But anyway, I'm definitely going to be taking that one home.
We have a thing on decks called pitch control.
Oh yeah, thanks for that one.
What are they?
Mark Kavanagh, thoughts on this one?
I think it's excellent. Loved it lots and lots. Something that you could listen to at home as well as in the club. Really, really good.
Yeah, it is a kind of a good after hours listening tune as well. It has its moment, I guess. Glen Brady.
I thought it was a good record. I like the sounds. Like, again, unlike the last one, it had good dynamic, some nice kind of analog vibe to it, and I didn't mind the tempo.
From a production element, there was some elements there
it was
that were clever,
wider, and there's like some amps used, and some. It's not just straight out of a computer, which is nice. And, and I didn't mind the tempo, and I think like in a lot of clubs, especially across Europe, you know, your first couple hours you're going to want to be staying sub 120 anyway. So it's nice. It almost gets a little too hard for a warm-up record, maybe, I think, but I could probably pull it off.
Good mentions. I'm just going to jump over to Mick Masterson and Dave Caffrey. Any thoughts on this one?
Yes, brilliant tune. You caught me off guard there. We were having a little private conversation here. But go ahead, Mick. Yes, great tune. Loved it. Lovely and hard. What do you think, Dave?
Okay, no, this is going in a different direction.
No, I'll bring it back a little bit. Yeah, I like it.
Sorry, Dave, jump in.
Yeah, yes. I like it a little bit slow, as the lads from Paradox were saying there as well. But pitch it up a little bit. It'd be probably dropped into one of my sets. Yeah, like it.
Yeah, a bit of the right EQ, I agree. I forgot to mention at the very start, this is our Good Friday edition, and Good Friday, the knacker drinking day, the best knacker drinking day of the year, has now been abolished by the government, and people actually wanted this. And you know, it's a good thing and a bad thing. Thoughts around the table about Good Friday? Is it Great Friday or is it Meh Friday now? It's Great Friday. Is the fun gone out of it?
I think it's a bit meh.
Actually, let's go to the alcoholics in the room first. Mick Masterson.
I just love the parties. I got worse.
I mean, Mick brings a bag of cans everywhere. So. Okay, Glenn, thoughts at the table, guys. Good Friday.
Makes no difference whatsoever to me personally, but
just another day.
Yeah, it's just another day.
I think, you know, for a younger generation, Good Friday was always a classic. Go to a field with a bag of cans. Is that going to be gone now?
I would never know where I was going to end up on a Good Friday. I would end up in the bizarrest places, upside down. You know, sides wasn't open. Let's go out. You know, and so there's a bit of spontaneity maybe missing. You know, because you're like, I got to find a party instead. It's like I can just go.
Will it kill the party, guys? Will it kill the party?
I think it takes away from doing the whole do what you're told not to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, before it was kind of Good Friday, you'd go out, you weren't allowed drinking pubs, so you go and get locked in a bush.
People will be confused now.
Yeah.
What do you think, Doug?
I think it's still going to be lit, but I was chatting to Glen before, and it's just kind of a fond memory of always having being at an absolutely heaving party on Good Friday, even without, you know, because everyone kind of went for it, but I feel that will still hang in there.
Okay, just Dave Caffrey wants to mention something.
Yeah, it's like everything else in Ireland. If we can't do it, we want to do it more. Like so, that's just.
While you guys are there as well, any feedback online from our viewers and listeners?
Yeah, just looking at some of the comments there at the minute. MD Duffy is breaking his heart laughing there at some of the comments about the Good Friday thing. Come back to us in a couple of minutes. We'll go through some of the tweets and texts.
I do want to touch and start on our gig guide. Our gig guide is submitted by Paul Dunn, aka the Facebook GUIDE Underground Clubbing Guide Ireland. Today we're going to touch on what's going on today. Barn Dance is it today? It is today. So that was a classic Good Friday celebration of bringing a bag of cans. Oh, yeah. Are they actually selling drink down there? How's it working down there for them? I assume it's going to be a good day. Thoughts on Barn Dance today, guys? It's down in Glendalough House, Animo. Great lineup.
Shame about the weather.
Shame about the weather, but it's
always the way.
It's always like Paddy's and Easter is always shitty.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good weekend down there. I played down there a couple of times. Yeah, it was always a seemed to be a bitter chill in the air. I had a picture popped up in the Facebook feed 5 years ago, and I still remember being wrapped up with a cold pair of hands in a cow shed.
Who's headlining that today?
It's Kerry Chandler and the Magician.
Kerry Chandler, isn't it? So it's a housey. Great DJ with Kerry a few times.
A lot of local talent.
Okay, we're going to go straight back into some more music. I've got some more gigs to cover. There's a big one on tomorrow night, April 1st, 100% old school at the Button Factory.
Sunday night.
Oh, sorry. Today's only Friday. Sunday night, which is 2 days away. You can tell I've brushed my hair with a pork chop today because I was out on the lash unexpectedly last night, and I apologise.
Dean, have you found those cans you've been losing yet?
No, I found a can.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm only in the door and I'm losing shit.
There is another great gig on tomorrow night in the Button Factory. If you're into something a little bit more experimental, Mount Kimby and Actress do their double header. That's going to be off the scale, that is.
Okay, and what style is that?
Every style. You'll get every style at that gig.
Are you serious?
Come and see.
Actress stuff is kind of very experimental, very abstract, and then Mount Kimby kind of play across the board.
Okay, excellent. I just want to go back then to Sunday night and get my days correct. So April the 1st, Sunday night, 100% old school at the Button Factory, promoted by someone at this very table, with a savage lineup of absolutely amazing and gorgeous DJs. We have got Francois, we have got Pat Hyland, Paddy Sheridan, Mark Kavanagh and Dean Sherry. I mean, it doesn't really... You know, thoughts on that one, guys. Thoughts on that one.
You left out the good-looking ones.
Thoughts on that gig, guys?
Yeah, I think it's great to see because, like, obviously they're kind of household names. I would have heard is like, you know, the Bones of Even.
Fucking hope not.
Well, like, you know, not to bring the age, whatever. Like 10 years ago even, and it's just, you know, it's really good to see, and I know that experience is kind of, you know, deserves or commands some respect, shall we say. And yeah, I think anyone of any genre or discipline could go and take something from that gig, and then definitely the gentlemen on show deserve support. 100%.
Any thoughts on this one, guys? Rather than going around the obvious, thoughts on this gig?
Yeah, just go and have a look and see how it goes.
Okay. We're gonna move straight back to the music.
No slating.
Where is the track? Good boy.
Save that for Dean.
Okay, next track up, guys. Straight into the music. Just a couple of shout outs while the track is playing. Drew Lattimore, Adam Sheridan, Dom Foodie, Declan Coleman, Gracie Friel, MD Duffy, Dara Lyons. Who else we got?
Rory Lynham as well has just joined us as well.
How you guys doing? Big shout from Fever Towers. Let us know what you're up to. Rory Lynham has just joined us. How you guys doing? Shane O'Connor. Thought you coming in here, birthday boy. Okay, we are back live. This is Huxley and the track is called Feel What You Want. Who put this bad boy on the table?
That was ourselves, yeah.
Okay, Paradox. The guys from Paradox have put this on the table. Geoff and Cormac, tell us why this one is up for review.
From myself, it's very simple, really. It kind of just brings me back to the Twisted Pepper days, which is where it all began for me, then going out in town, and the addicting beat that Huxley has provided, kind of it just stuck with me. And when I listened to it earlier on, it just brought me back to my 18-year-old days in the Pepper basement. And that's it.
The Twisted Leper. It was a great little club. Has Huxley obviously played there, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Huxley is Dutch, is he? Is he a Dutch guy?
No, he's British.
Oh, is he British? Okay, tell us about your thoughts on this one, Doug.
Yeah, I can relate to that around the time. I remember kind of mooching around different after parties and stuff. You'll hear that style. A little bit straight for me and a little bit bland. I actually initially thought it was one of the lads' own productions. And yeah, not something I would play, but something I would kind of definitely kick back and listen to and enjoy. But yeah, not really my cup of tea and a bit flat for me, to be honest. As a track. But yeah, I definitely get the cultural significance, and my label partner, Mr. Phil Gavin, would have been rocking that tune out big time, so he'll be giving me a hiding if I say it too hard.
Glen Brady, thoughts on that one? I guess it's a deep house kind of vibe there, yeah?
Exactly. Yeah, I think it would fit into any era. You know, you could have played it 20 years ago, you could have played it 10 years ago, you could play it now. If it's the right place in the set, it's not going to drag people onto the floor.
What was this track?
I was like 5 years ago.
Oh, it's not a new track. Okay.
Okay. I wouldn't have even known. You know, I knew it wasn't old because of the production, but you know, it's a playable tune. You know, you can drop it in the middle. It's not going to drag him on the floor, but it'll keep him there.
I found it a little samey, but again. It has a nice groove. It's an early night tune. It's a filler between other tracks. It has a nice kind of feel to it. Mark Kavanagh, your thoughts?
I'm not sure why, but it reminded me of Tori Amos, Professional Widow, the Armand Van Helden mix of it. I was sort of mashing it up with that in my head as I was listening to it.
Without Thundertone, I guess. Yeah, that's a good comment. Yeah. So that was well received, kind of. Okay, before we move on, we're coming up to 25 past the hour. I'm going to ask Mark Fay back in. We've all had a chance to have a quick look at the bells and whistles of this very sexy controller. I'm going to let Mark talk a little bit more about it, and I'm actually going to ask Doug Cooney, because you know you have used this bad boy, and it's not just a DJ controller.
No, it's not. It's sort of, when I looked at it initially, perfect for someone looking to get into live hybrid. I guess tipping the hat to the stems situation that's going on. But yeah, for me personally, I was looking at it and I was like, wow, this is a powerful production tool in the right hands. You know, you've multiple channels, and less is more for me with production and kind of, you know, ushering people into evolving parameters and stuff a lot more. So yeah, it's a powerful weapon in the right hands.
And how does it compare to other controllers?
Yeah, well, I suppose it's got the calibre of the Native Instruments brand behind it, and it's definitely an evolution. Essentially, the wheel and stuff has kind of been disbanded, in an attempt to, with all this sort of live hybrid and the accessibility to technology these days. So,
and that's common for you guys. The wheel is gone.
Yeah, so the wheel has certainly been and gone. This is interesting because it was a move away from what we traditionally get used to seeing in DJ boxes. There's no jog wheel and there's no pitch fader. So initially people look at it and say it looks really cool, and when you say to them, well, there's no jog wheel and pitch fader, they go, all right, yeah, that's a bit different. I think Doug is right in what he said, though. It's a really, really nice, almost a hybrid machine to allow producers and DJs or producers who DJ to come together. It was, as I said earlier, one of the first dedicated stems controllers, so guys who do produce their own tunes can mix them out of stems, and they can natively play that format then on the S8, so you can isolate the different elements of a track, which is really, really cool, and you can do it very quickly and easily without having to be a genius. Yeah.
I like it, guys. Around the table, Mark, Kavanagh, your thoughts on this? It's a beast, but it's not actually. Like, even though it looks like it weighs a ton, it's not actually that bad.
No, it looks amazing. I think it's about time we all moved away from the wheel. The whole thing of CDJs was just like...
Whoever invented the wheel now has a fucking fairly good monopoly. Now,
well, the lack of the wheel brings a whole other discussion. So.
After sliced bread, it's up there, you know?
No, the CDJ thing is just people standing around still pretending that they're playing records, so that's the way it strikes me. And, you know, the newer variations of that...
You see, that would scare me, because...
You no longer even put a CD in, so why we're now pretending that we play CDs, and we don't. It's USB keys. So this is like the future, and everybody should embrace it.
And this came out, I guess, it's about a year or so, this model.
Maybe a small bit more. Maybe a small bit more.
And it replaced, I know, like, I've been familiar with the S4, which was a really popular
still going.
mobile DJ
still
kind
going.
of
So the S8 and the S5 were the evolution of what is the S2 and the S4. So the S2 and the S4, everyone knows them and has seen them at some stage. They were the native answer to plug straight into Tractor.
Yeah.
These evolved out of that. This is when Native went big in stems, and they wanted guys to have more control over using their own production, using the tools.
And it's a risk taking away a DJ tool like a wheel.
Yeah, it was a huge deviation away from the norm, if you want to call it the norm. It was a massive thing that they did, and it has a little brother. It has the S5 as well. So there's two controllers in the range. I think it's Marmite. If you're to be really honest, it's Marmite. I think you look at it and either go, "This is amazing, it's for me," or you look at it and go, "I can't live without a wheel. What am I going to do?" And you'll find something else to suit, which is the S4.
Glen, Brady, could you use a piece of kit like this?
I mean, I could. I probably wouldn't. You know,
so no.
I'm cynical about controllers in general.
Do you love a wheel?
I'm old school like that, the wheel, but that's not it. What concerns me about stuff like this is I feel like in you pay what, 1,200-1,500 quid for something
it's
like this.
About 12, yeah.
About 1,150, 1,200 quid.
DJ Box will do deals for anyone mentioning Fever.
I don't want to disrespect DJ Box. Don't want to disrespect DJ Box, but I'm skeptical about controllers because I feel like they kind of come in and out of what they do and don't do, and it's kind of a fashion, and it becomes quite obsolete quite quickly. So that concerns me about it. Having said that, I would probably really have fun playing with it for a couple of hours.
Guys, have you used this?
Yeah, I've used this. I actually used two D2s and then a mixer, and this is kind of just like two D2s with a mixer built into it. But the good thing about this is you can just close your laptop and put it away, and you have the screens on either side. If you're really into like manipulating, looping, and affecting your music, you can do so much on
this. Does this work without the laptop?
Yeah, well, you can just close the screen on it and use these here, which is...
But you're still using the laptop's hard drive. You can't like use it independently.
It's not standalone.
No,
the beauty of the S8 is, as you said, you can tuck your laptop away. So
a
lot of people didn't like having
you're not looking like you're doing your emails on stage.
Yeah, exactly. So the laptop at the moment is way
thing.
away.
Yeah.
So and you can use the on-screen displays. So you can everything you can do from your laptop, you can do from the displays. So you can select a track. You can do all those things.
Is it a touchscreen?
It's not a touchscreen, but it does have some really clever features because some of the pots and stuff are touch capacitive. So when you touch them, different things on display.
Can I ask a quick question about the stems thing now? I obviously understand the concept of stems, but and I noticed that there's 4 volumes per side.
Yeah.
Can you play multiple stems on either deck, or is it still a single stem per side?
So the basis of it is that a stem is effectively an MP4, and in that MP4 then you have 4 different stems.
Sure,
in that MP4.
4 tracks.
Yeah. So in the case of each track, it might be different. So that one, I'm not sure. It could be like
so you can
bass
have
vocals.
4 separate tracks per side.
Yeah, four separate elements of the same track.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
That I like. I didn't realise that.
On this machine, you can have up to 16 things playing because you have a deck flip button as well.
Oh, that's really
interested to see what our listeners and our viewers think of this bad boy. And I know MD Duffy, one of our own team, uses this. So Mick and Dave, if you can, in a couple of minutes, just let us know what sort of feedback.
Well, we had Declan Coleman. He says it's more for use as a performance tool, stems, loops, samples, etc. Seen some people use it, and when used right, it's a serious piece of kit.
Is the target audience someone that produces their own music as well, or can you see a controller like this becoming as ubiquitous as a CDJ eventually?
It's way better.
I think it was aimed at both, because if you think of Native Instruments as a company, they also have Complete and Machina, which are obviously production-aimed tools. So I think it sits into people who live in the Native Instruments ecosystem. I think they tried and they continue to try to make stems more mainstream. So they're on Juno and Beatport and Tracksource and all these places. Where it falls slightly short is the availability of stems probably isn't what we'd like it to be. As tracks are released, they're not coming online in stem format. Not all the tracks that all the guys want to play all the time. As a producer, if you're producing your own tracks and you can produce your own stems, this is definitely appealing. It's got to be.
That's what I saw. That's for me.
Me too. That's what I'm seeing in it. Like, even for me, like, you know, after 20 years of making tracks, you know, you wake up and you're like, shit, the last 10 tracks I did have the exact same arrangements, you know. So something like this, you'd really be able to tweak arrangements on the fly without like overthinking it, and that's as
you can
take
the bass
happy accidents,
the vocal out of another, and very quickly and easily use your own stuff. But there's a lot of technology in there as well. The ability, the fact that it doesn't depend on a laptop, you can tuck it away and it doesn't look. It's got a DVS integrated sound card, so you can plug a set of 1210s into the back, and you can use Tractor Scratch straight with it without any additional licenses and stuff. It's a hardware mixer as well, so it'll stand alone without a laptop as line in. So there's a lot going on.
Okay, guys, I'm going to pull time. Mark Fay, DJBox.ie. Thank you so much, as always, for our tech. Today, anybody that wants to go and buy some DJ tech, talk to Mark, djbox.ie online, and mention PHEVER, and he might throw in something free.
Cup of coffee.
Filter coffee.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Straight back to the music. We're going to look at a track called Jump the Chasm.
Gallery. The Shooting Gallery. The Shooting Gallery.
Okay. This track is called Jump the Chasm, extended mix. Something's after collapsing out there.
Dave Caffrey is smashing.
It wasn't me.
Dave Caffrey is doing some nude Olympics out there. The track is called Jump the Chasm, the extended mix by Nick Callahan. Not a track I'm familiar with. About 135 BPM. I have to imagine this is Mark Kavanagh's submission.
I submitted this because it's on the Carnage label, and Carnage is
Love a bit of Carnage.
tech trance label run by Brian Carney, and Brian is like a phenomenal
Brian's a
DJ.
ledge, yeah.
Who's been around quite a bit, but in the last couple of years his career has just exploded. Like Brian and John recently played a gig in South America where they were the headline DJs, and there's like 20,000 people turning up for two Irish DJs on the continent the other
I
side
think,
of the
Dave,
world.
you know Brian, and you know these guys as well, Dave, don't you?
Yeah, Brian, as Mark said there, Brian is doing some serious productions at the minute, and kudos to John as well for sort of helping him along. As Mark was saying, Argentina, all over South America, these boys are huge.
They did a tour of Australia recently. They played a 7,000 capacity venue in Melbourne, sold it out in advance. 2,000 capacity venue in Sydney the week before, sold that out in advance as well. Like, that's just fantastic. He was one of the first DJs from the 90s to kind of break out of Ireland. I'm pointing at Glen Brady, of course. Glen went on to do some really huge stuff around Europe, and you know, we're now sort of used to Irish DJs kind of making it internationally compared to maybe a couple of decades ago.
It's still a small handpicked group.
I still think, you know, when you see someone, you see what John and Brian are doing. I know trance isn't probably anyone else's bag here around the table, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't necessarily play that particular record out. It was more just to give some props to.
My thoughts on it, I mean, I'm not a trance head, so it's not something that would ever be in my bag. I wouldn't be able to match anything with that in my bag. Thoughts on this, though, Cooney?
Yeah, just nice to see the lads getting a well-deserved pat on the back. I've seen the likes of the rise of Brian Carney and stuff over the years, and kind of seeing the club scene and the way things were operating in Dublin, and just seeing the mass scale of that, and like perhaps the lads didn't get enough. You know, I just thought they really went on to represent Ireland on that massive
They have
platform.
taken it to a whole different
It's a
level.
whole different ball game than most like successful DJs in the city are even, you know, aware of. So yeah, like exactly same as you. I do have a few little wedge of trance records somewhere back in the mammy's gaff, but so yeah, a little bit of soft spot, but yeah, not something I'd be playing out. But yeah, great to see the lads getting the credit where credit's due.
Have they only blown up now in the last couple of years, did you say?
Oh no,
well, I know they've
been grinding it for a while.
Yeah, they've been more, but John was sort of like leading the charge, I suppose, for a long time, and but in the last couple of years, Brian has almost overtaken
abroad,
him.
Yeah, if you check out the subculture label, like, do you know what I mean, you can see what John has done. Like, John has a lot of family that's involved in music and stuff like that as well. I think a lot of his uncles, and family have been classically trained, which would have helped him along. And the subculture label all over the world is huge right now.
The Carnage label that's on, Brian's label, tends to put out stuff that's a little bit more sort of left to centre. A lot of the time, the arrangement on that particular track, we didn't listen to it all the way through, but it does some interesting stuff.
I'm guessing there's an obvious follow on from the whole scene that you championed here in Ireland, Mark. You know, that hard dance scene. You know, they did stem from that kind of
Brian did, yeah.
Origins, yes.
Brian did. John would have been more influenced by people like Chris Liebing and Mara Picotto.
Yeah.
Brian, was a Temple Theatre regular, and a lot of the mashups that he does are from the same sort of scene that we were a part of.
We were, thankfully enough. Glen Brady, thoughts? I can't see you with your Transpal Ambulance fluffy boots on.
You know, I'm not a big trance guy, but it's nice to hear like that people from here are out there doing really good stuff and really blowing up and just tearing it up. I love to hear that. You know, as Mark says, you know, a lot of us have been at this for, you know, more than 20 years and in different respects, you know. And it stokes me out to see people do so well, and just to think of a couple of Irish DJs from Dublin out in South America with 20,000 people. I mean,
wow.
I'd say they're having a ball, and I think fair play to them. You know, I turn it up 20 BPM, just make it, Gabba.
Mick Masterson, our resident Transpalambulance old school DJ. Tell us your thoughts.
I love the tune. I used to hang around Brian and had a bit of crack with him. He was a mad lunatic. Going out, but the tracks are great.
What was his thoughts of you, Michael?
He thought I was worse. I think the last time I met him, I poured a pint over his head.
Okay, guys, some more gigs coming up. We mentioned the old school gig on Sunday night. We're going to come back to that at the end of the gig. On April 2nd, on Monday, Lush presents Ayla and Fila, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Ali and Fila in Kelly's Complex, Port Rush. Thoughts on that one? I don't know who they are.
They're Egyptian trance duo.
Trance.
Where's Port Rush?
Port Rush in it's Oop North.
It's where the UK Open
is it
is
still
taking place
Carl
next year.
Hamilton involved in that?
Carl's the main
a good man.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in 20 years.
Carl's we've been trying to get him down. It's a camel ride, unfortunately.
Carl is booking in some serious trance acts up there, and I seen Ali and Fila over in Ultra. I think it was 2 years ago. Only one of them actually travel. The other fella is allergic to planes, I believe. But I have heard them, and like I'm not a big trance fan myself, as you know, but I do like good hard energy sets, and these guys pull it out of the bag every time. Super sets.
Okay, April 6th next weekend. Another back to the old school. Personally speaking, and Mark, we've spoken about this. I mean, I think old school has its place in time, but not overdoing it either. You know, there's a lot of old school nights popping up left, right, and centre. This one, you know, it's in Club M, which again, is not your normal kind of dance club night. Temple Bar, it's a club that's there a long time. Pressure, Ken O'Flanagan, Latin Wolf, Fabio, Derek Cully, and Laney on the lineup. Lineup is decent for an old school lineup. Thoughts on this one?
In a strange way, it does sort of suit the venue, because back in the day when Pat O'Keefe ruled the roost and ran almost every single venue in the city, he regularly
Oops.
If you're listening, Pat, you still owe me for that Cork gig. Remember that one?
There's always one.
Pat is what you might describe as a lovable rogue, and I don't think he'd mind being described as that. He did do gigs in Club M. He used to act as Lord of the Manor in there for a long time.
Gave me my first gig.
So a lot of those DJs that are on that lineup would have played there back then.
Yeah. It's a good one. Okay, else I'm going to very quickly go through this so we can listen to some more music. April 14th we have Intense presents Activa and Lossley in the Soundhouse. On April 14th, Mark Sigma M6 at the Button Factory. On April 27th, Index presents Charlotte DeWitt. There's a lot of vibe about this one. Charlotte DeWitt, any thoughts on her?
Well, you got Bodica as well and Wigwam. Same night.
On the same night. Is that your promotion?
So I'll be going to that one.
Good stuff. We will give the lads a chance to plug their gigs. And at the end of April, we have Tool Room Live, Mark Knight and Tube and Berger. Now, I'm not a Mark Knight fan, but Tube and Berger would be a good one. That's at District 8. That's a good one for the end of the month.
It's a nice step up for the Tool Room night. They've been doing the Button Factory for the last couple of years. It always sells out in advance. So I think that's a big jump in capacity, but I think it's going to do it.
Okay, guys, Gig Guide is done. My thanks to Paul Dunn for that one. Straight back into the music. This track is called Goodbye to All I Know.
Welcome to eternity.
Okay, this track is called, or was called, Who Made Who? Goodbye to All I Know, the original mix, Embassy of Music. Who put this bad boy on the table?
I did.
Mr. Glen Brady, tell us about this track.
It's a band called Who Made Who. They're from Denmark. You might know one of them. He's been around as a producer for a long time, called Tomboy. He's done a lot of productions with like Goma, Munich, and hundreds of labels actually. I picked it because I opened my promos yesterday when you sent me the track request, and it was the one band I knew in the promos. Interesting fact: the bass player Thomas Hoftinger played in our band The Glass, who you probably remember from the 90s. From 2000s. He played our first European tour with the Glass, and he's the bass player in that band.
I have some of their 12s and some.
They
have some really tasty remixes.
They're fun dudes. I picked it because I always had a good story about them. A few years ago, we were playing at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, and anybody who's played South by Southwest as a band or DJ or anyone who carries equipment will know that at 2 o'clock in the morning, there's 2,000 bands on the street with equipment and no way to get to the few hotel rooms that exist 20 miles outside the city. So we got back from a show one night. It was about 2 in the morning. We were sitting around the pool. Everybody was getting wasted, and the pool was on like a level where you could see down to the street, and we saw a bunch of musicians driving down, or cycling down the street with all of their equipment
on their back,
strapped to the bikes, and they're all pissed. And
sounds like me at Electric
Picnic. It was Who Made Who, and they had, yes, it was Who Made Who. They'd flown over from Denmark, and with their equipment they shipped their bikes because they'd did South by Southwest before. Now you're thinking these guys just played for about 5,000 people, So and they're cycling home with girls and everything on the bikes,
as you do,
and they're very beautiful looking Danish men, and they get off. They're very stylish and they're good fun. So I thought, let's have them, and it is a wonderful single.
If Carlsberg do bands,
it would definitely be Who Made Who.
I liked it. I didn't hear all of the track. It's the first time I've heard this one. Mark, Kavanagh, thoughts?
3 thoughts. First one is Glen definitely has the best radio voice I've ever heard.
We might have a career for you here.
I've been told.
that was also the story of the day. Great story. And tune of the show for me as well. I thought that was beautiful.
Jeez,
it is a nice tune. Paradox, what do you guys think?
Yeah, it was nice and airy. It was good. It was kind of chilled out. At the same time, there's a lot of energy in it.
It's a back to mind tune, I guess.
Yeah, unwinding on a Sunday is what I thought as well.
I felt the Sunday buzz.
Excellent, that's good. I think the lads would love that.
Doug Cooney, it's an afternoon and yours, is it?
Yeah, I was really happy to hear that because I heard of the band, but I did the segue into to Tommy Boy Records, and I have a few of their records, and I would have been, kind of similar to like some of the early electro clash kind of stuff. I would have been playing maybe a little bit more integral stuff, 120 Italo-y kind of,
that's
bit
it.
more not new disco, but nice, good musicianship.
Totally.
But the bass hit me straight away when I put the cans on. It was a nice wide set. You could hear it was from a bass guitar and through a few fat amps. So
it's nice. Yeah, there's a bit of analog in there.
They're real pro musicians. I've rehearsed at their studio a couple of times, and it's in Copenhagen, looking over the sea, and it's all lovely carpets and vintage amps and guitars, and they're all like government sponsored. You know what I mean? And So
there's another semi going on at the table.
I don't know. If
okay.
And it's not Doug.
Straight back in with the music. I picked this one up online today.
Oh.
If it plays. Is it playing?
I think it's playing there, right?
The Shooting Gallery.
Okay, while this is playing, I just want to go over to Mick Masterson. What's going on online, mate?
Gemma says, not my style, but I will buy it. And Graham Anthony Murphy says, Paul Denon rising high in the trance scene too. What do you think, guys? And Gemma Howard says, yes, it's nice.
Okay, this track was a little curveball I threw in by a DJ producer known as DJ Wool. And the track, Booty from the Future. I like the title, it's the live version. Thoughts on this one, Mark Kavanagh?
Yeah, that was lovely, really nice. Bass line.
I'm holding his balls here under the table.
There's a bit of cupping going on.
I'm interested to hear how that was put together. Glen was telling me that.
That was a live version. I did that. It was done out in San Francisco. It's a no computer. It's not all analog. There's some digital synths, but analog drum machines, analog synths, live, no computers at all. A live hardware.
It's a beautiful melodic piece of music, and I picked it because I like it. Obviously. You performed here for us live before, and it was a reflection of that, and that's the reason I wanted to throw it in and let you talk about the production process.
Yeah, when I think of you, I think of beats usually, big fat beats and big fat bass lines, and that was the other side of things, maybe the more melodic and musical side.
I guess probably in the 20 years I've been out of Ireland, that a lot of time was spent on melody and exactly.
Your Honour.
But a lot of that time was spent, working on music in terms of writing and playing and traditional approaches to music as opposed to programming or sequencing and whatnot. So they would definitely have it.
I'm going to cut you short. It's a beautiful piece of music. Look up DJ Wool online. Guys, I'm going to go around the table. We are running low on time, but obviously I want to touch on, first of all, is it still Good Friday, or is it Great Friday, or is it meh? What do you think?
I'm fond of the middle ground, so I'll take your second answer.
Okay. Doug Cooney, tell us what's coming up in your world. You've been doing a lot of production. I know you through the training backgrounds. You're finally getting a lot of those productions out there and published.
Yeah, I feel like maybe the bones of 10 years hard work kind of come to a head of 3 EPs kind of coming out on record before the summer. My debut EP just dropped on Orbis Records. It's going to be released on May the 5th, and that's a Belgian label, something I've been actually trying to get onto for 3 years, so one close to my heart. Orgon Records is a new Irish label that's starting, run by Ian MacDonald, and Ian has 2 of my original tracks with a remixer, Binny, and we're having the launch party in Wawa Club South William on April 20th.
Familiar with that place?
Yeah. Been once or twice.
Good stuff, and tell us the style and because you've been messing around with this for years. It's good to finally get it out there.
Yeah, and I think for me it was kind of on my own case over the 20s. You're getting on. Where's this music? This happening? Are you good enough? Doubt and all the rest. But yeah, I kind of found that time to develop my figure out what I'm trying to convey or whatever in my music, and it's club orientated music. I'm pretty straight up. I like melody. I like deeper tracks. I like a 3-4 hour set, so I've got everything in there from the start to the finish.
And
of the
tell us what's coming up. RLSD is doing
RLSD, we're just about to go to print on RLSD 3. We have Casper Hastings Russell, who's doing really well, played Trezor Club in Berlin very recently, and also Trezor. Sorry, that was my Kildare accent coming out there. And also Stewie Lyons, who's someone who I took a lot of influence from. Yeah, Stewie's is come out with a massive track for 3, and we've got a remixer. I won't tell you just now, but someone I've probably got about 40 of his records in my bag, and we'll keep that one up the sleeve. So myself and Phil Gavin are running that
might
label.
Get you out here to do a little live Saturday sesh.
That would be brilliant, and Stewie will be dying to come out here.
Glen Brady. What's coming up in your world?
I'm making records and putting them out on several labels.
That's what you do.
You know, the reason I have
can
to
you hear
stop
the,
you.
Can you hear the deadpan?
I have to stop you. I'm so much less interesting than these young fellas. You mentioned Casper Hastings there. No, I don't know him personally, but I do know all his brothers and sisters, and I knew his mum when she was pregnant with him. I really did.
Take of that what you will.
I love his music, so I've been in touch with him because I know his family and whatnot. Yeah. But I have a house music EP coming out on Salid in Spain.
Remember back
August.
in a different life when you were the voice of Atlantic 252.
How do you know I'm not still? The only reason I came on here was to get a demo of my voice going. That's why I came back.
Glen Brady, Dr. Love. What's coming up in your world this year?
I have a couple of tracks coming out on Salid in Spain. I got that's kind of a tech house thing. I got an electro thing coming out.
Tech house. I mean, you're a breaks guy.
Yeah, I'm an everything guy. He's
putting himself out there now.
6 years
Dr.
in Berlin.
Love.
6 years in Berlin a few years ago. I always wanted to get around to doing that. So I have a little thing coming out in Salid in August, and then back to the electro on Trax Couture in
I
around
love to hear
September,
this because you're showing exactly the Glen Brady I know that just has some fun with some music.
Yeah. It's like I like a lot of that stuff. So if I'm sitting at home listening to music, I end up making something like that.
I used to DJ with this man in the pod. We worked together for a couple of years, myself and Barry Dempsey and Glen. And Glen was just a complete different. You want to check out what Glen's playing in there? He just would drop shit that no one else was dropping.
Well, first time I played in the pod was for Martin Thomas, R.I.P. Died a few weeks ago. He's a very good friend, a great promoter. And the first time I was playing in the pod, you guys were all playing there, and as you said, you played very different stuff to me. And he's like, "Come on, Brady, you see, you're gonna play." And I was like, "Well, what am I gonna play down there? Maybe like a hip hop DJ or something, And he goes, "I don't care. Just make sure they don't fucking like it." I was like, all right, check.
Mark Kavanagh, tell us what's coming up in your world.
I think you're running out of time, Mr.
We
Caffrey.
are. We'll get to it.
100% Old School is on this Sunday. We've already covered that, so let the lads have the last word, I think.
Well, it's a good one, though. It's a good one, and this one I'm proud to be involved. Paradox boys, Geoff and Cormac, tell us what's coming up. You've a lot.
Very quickly, we just had TechWorks Festival a couple of weeks ago in Cork, obviously. So next to that, the sister of TechWorks is Houseworks, which will rear her ugly head in sometime
She's
after
a bit
summer.
of a beaut,
I can't
though.
really announce it over the air, but it's sometime after summer.
Can we obviously get a little fish of the as soon as you're ready to release? So you give us a shout and you come out here and we maybe do a little promo.
Oh yeah, absolutely, release party or whatever.
And what else is coming up?
Mass.
Yeah, Mass on July 7th.
Mass every Sunday, I hope, lads. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything to be said for another mass?
What other gigs have you got coming up, lads? Whereabouts is Mass happening?
Yeah, tell us about the gigs, guys, and where they are.
Mass is in the same place as last year. It's in Clonmel Greyhound Stadium, and then Houseworks will be. I also shouldn't say this, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It's in the same venue as TechWorks was. It's Mill Street. So no surprise there. I think everyone kind of knew that anyway.
Good stuff. Everyone has done really well. You guys have been churning out some quality. For me, Dean Sherry, I think it's been a great shooting gallery version 4. We're getting better and better and better. Thank you so much, Glen Brady, Mark Kavanagh, Geoff, Cormac, Paradox, and Doug Cooney. My thanks to my production team, Pablo C, Dave Caffrey, and the mighty Mick Masterson. I am now going to hand you over to Dave Caffrey.
Yay.
The Shooting Gallery, a new exclusive monthly drive time highlight. A special in-studio guest reviews of new music, events, tech plus industry discussions, and banter globally simultaneously.
I want to say a very big thank you to Mark Ray from DJ Box as well. If you want to pick up any DJ equipment, do check him out. He's in Cookstown and Tala. Check out djbox.ie. A very thank you to all of our guests here tonight. It has been version 4, as Dean said. It's been a